kongsi ilmu untuk macam mana nak berjaya. Engkau ni apa semua itu dengan lagak sombong. Oh, tak boleh, engkau tak boleh berniaga. Kenapa engkau tak ada apa semua? Nampak tak di situ? Attitude yang tidak baik. Kerana merendahkan orang lain. Oh, sombong. Oh, engkau tak boleh berjaya, engkau macam ni apa semua, macam-macam.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Bersama saya Syasha Jamal di Inspirasi. Hari ini kita akan memaparkan top 5 isu yang melibatkan belia masa kini, teknologi-teknologi baru dan juga trend-trend terkini. Tapi sebelum itu, mari kita mulakan rancangan ini dengan buletin ringkas. Jabatan Imigresen berjaya menumpaskan sindiket penyeludupan warga Bangladesh didalangi seorang lelaki dikenali Abang Bangla dalam satu serbuan di sebuah premis kediaman di Seksyen 28 Shah Alam, Selangor awal pagi tadi. Ketua Pengarah Imigresen, Datuk Seri Mustafar Ali berkata, menerusi serbuan kira-kira jam 2 pagi, pihaknya menahan 50 warga Bangladesh berusia 20 hingga 45 tahun selain merampas wang tunai berjumlah RM13,400 dan 48 pasport Bangladesh. Beliau berkata, serbuan dilakukan susulan penahanan seorang lelaki Bangladesh dikenali Abang Bangla atau nama sebenarnya Abdul Rauf, 43, di Alam Megah, di Shah Alam, dipercayai menjadi dalang sindiket menguruskan kemasukan warga senegaranya. Jumlah mangsa banjir di daerah Rompin meningkat kepada 103 mangsa daripada 28 keluarga setakat jam 8 pagi tadi. Pengarah Angkatan Pertahanan Awam Pahang, Kolonel PA Zainal Yusof berkata 64 mangsa ditempatkan di Pusat Pemindahan Sementara Sekolah Kebangsaan Tekit dan 39 mangsa di Dewan Orang Ramai Leban Condong. Zainal berkata, hujan lebat sejak awal pagi semalam memaksa semua mangsa dipindahkan selepas rumah mereka dinaiki air. Pelakon dan pengarah filem Datuk Farid Kamil Zahari yang dipercayai menampar seorang anggota polis trafik dan menendang 2 orang awam ditahan reman selama 4 hari bermula hari ini. Perintah tahanan reman itu dikeluarkan Magistret Zaki Ashraf Zubair terhadap pelakon berusia 37 tahun itu. Terdahulu, Farid yang memakai baju lokap ungu tiba di Kompleks Mahkamah Petaling Jaya dengan menaiki truk polis kira-kira jam 10 pagi sebelum diiringi anggota polis ke kamar mahkamah pada jam 10.35 pagi untuk prosiding reman. Sejumlah RM4 juta dana akan diagihkan kepada 140 rumah panjang di daerah peluru utara Sarawak untuk menaik taraf dan membaiki kerosakan kediaman. Menteri Muda Kerajaan Tempatan, Datuk Dr. Penguang Manggil berkata, agihan peruntukan itu diberikan Kerajaan Pusat untuk membantu meringankan beban penduduk rumah panjang di utara Sarawak. Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri Marudi itu berkata, setiap keluarga di rumah panjang yang layak akan menerima bantuan Kerajaan Pusat sebanyak RM1,000. Pihak berkuasa di selatan California berkata semalam, puluhan penduduk dikuatiri masih hilang selepas banjir lumpur mengorbankan 17 orang dan memusnahkan rumah. Kemarau selama 10 bulan sebelum ini dan disusuli hujan lebat sejak Selasa lalu menyebabkan lumpur dan serpihan mengalir dari bukit menuju ke Montecito dan bandar lain di Santa Barbara County di barat laut Los Angeles. Syarif Wilayah Santa Barbara Bill Brown berkata, pihaknya sedang mencari 43 penduduk dan menyiasat bagi mengesahkan sama ada mereka benar-benar hilang. Amerika Syarikat dan sekutu utamanya mencadangkan supaya pemeriksaan dibuat terhadap kapal menuju ke Korea Utara dalam mesyuarat di Vancouver Selasa depan. Mesyuarat yang membincangkan mengenai program nuklear Korea Utara itu bakal disertai beberapa lagi negara kecuali China dan Rusia. Pengarah Jabatan Negara Perancangan Dasar, Brian Hook, berkata Setiausaha Negara Rex Tillerson sedang mencari jalan bagi melaksanakan mekanisme lebih praktikal bagi meningkatkan tekanan terhadap Pyongyang.
Untuk trend kita kali ini, kita akan lihat trend melancong. Syasha memang bercita-cita untuk melancong ke seluruh dunia, jadi ini kira berita menarik untuk Syasha. Syasha tahu ramai juga di luar sana yang mempunyai cita-cita yang sama, jadi jom kita lihat bersama.
Dalam beberapa tahun ini, kecenderungan rakyat Malaysia untuk melancong ke luar negara meningkat dengan ketara daripada hanya berhasrat untuk mengunjungi Langkawi kini kepada memburu melihat Northern Lights di Ireland. Semua ini menjadi lebih mudah dengan kemajuan internet yang terdapat dalam pelbagai platform dalam talian, aplikasi mudah alih dan promosi penerbangan menjadikan perjalanan lebih murah dan mudah. Bukan itu sahaja, melancong secara solo turut meningkat susulan kebimbangan untuk melakukan perjalanan ke luar negara semakin berkurangan dan ejen pelancongan juga tidak begitu diperlukan apabila semua orang mempunyai telefon pintar yang dilengkapi dengan internet. Menurut laporan oleh Mastercard, dianggarkan 11.9 juta perjalanan ke luar negara dari Malaysia telah dicatatkan pada 2016 dan jumlah itu dijangka meningkat pada purata 3.5% setahun kepada 14.2 juta perjalanan menjelang 2021. Presiden Persatuan Ejen-Ejen Pelancongan dan Pengembaraan Malaysia, MATA, Datuk Tan Kok Leang berkata, bukan sahaja perjalanan ke luar negara meningkat dalam beberapa tahun ini, pelancongan domestik turut berkembang dengan baik. Katanya lagi, pada 2015, sebanyak 235.2 juta perjalanan telah dilakukan oleh rakyat Malaysia di negara ini. Ini merupakan peningkatan sebanyak 8% kepada 253.9 juta perjalanan pada tahun lepas menurut kajian pelancongan domestik 2016 yang dijalankan oleh Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia. MATA, Persatuan Pelancongan yang menganjurkan pameran pelancongan mata secara tahunan, berjaya menarik lebih 120,000 pengunjung dan mencatatkan lebih 220 juta ringgit jualan pada pamerannya pada 2017. Berdasarkan pameran mata yang diadakan pada September tahun lepas, destinasi domestik termasuk Negeri Sembilan, Selangor dan Johor mencatatkan hasil jualan tertinggi bagi tarikan pelancongan mereka. Bagi destinasi antarabangsa, hasil jualan tertinggi dicatatkan bagi Jepun, China dan UK. Melihat dari segi perspektif perturunan mata wang, perjalanan ke tempat-tempat tersebut tidak begitu murah, tetapi apa yang membuatkan rakyat Malaysia masih dapat melakukan perjalanan ke luar negara? Jika mereka mampu untuk melancong ke luar negara dan jumlah tersebut terus meningkat, ia membuat kita berfikir adakah ekonomi kita teruk? Ringgit diniagakan pada paras sekitar 3.53 berbanding yen, paras 0.61 berbanding yuan China dan 5.41 berbanding pound British. Mereka yang gemar melancong menyatakan sebab utama menjadikan perjalanan lebih mudah adalah kerana rakyat Malaysia menikmati perjalanan tanpa visa ke 164 buah negara dan wilayah, menjadikan pasport Malaysia berada pada kedudukan ke-13 paling kukuh di dunia menurut dapatan Indeks Sekatan Visa Henley. Selain itu, promosi penerbangan murah sepanjang tahun dengan antara hubungan yang baik dari satu tempat ke tempat yang lain merupakan satu lagi sebab melancong ke luar negara kini menjadi perkara biasa. Ketua Komersial Air Asia Berhad, Spencer Lee, berkata syarikat penerbangan tambang rendah itu sentiasa committed untuk menjadikan perjalanan udara dengan harga berpatutan untuk semua orang sejajar dengan slogannya "Now Everyone Can Fly". Tambahnya lagi, pembukaan dan penutupan laluan merupakan sebahagian daripada perancangan rangkaian yang kompleks yang tertakluk kepada permintaan pasaran. Air Asia membolehkan orang ramai melakukan perjalanan pada harga berpatutan ke laluan yang committed untuk membina dan mewujudkannya dari semasa ke semasa. Air Asia melalui platform digitalnya Repeat AirAsia melalui platform digitalnya AirAsia Go menjadi antara aplikasi pilihan berikutan ia menawarkan pelbagai pilihan hotel, aktiviti dan perkhidmatan perjalanan kepada pengembara bersesuaian dengan bajet. Dengan pembangunan teknologi laman webnya yang konsisten dalam beberapa tahun ini, platform AirAsia Go menyediakan pelanggan dengan akses kepada teknologi tempahan yang cekap bagi 365,000 hotel di seluruh Asia. Pengurus besar AirAsiaGo.com Darren Goh berkata, susulan terdapat trend yang semakin meningkat dalam kalangan pengembara Asia yang menempah pakej penerbangan dan hotel. AirAsia Go memenuhi permintaan ini dengan penjimatan pakej pelancongan sehingga 25%. Sementara itu, dari perspektif pengembara, ramai yang berpegang kepada kata-kata lebih baik melihat sesuatu sekali berbanding mendengar mengenainya 1,000 kali. Walaupun setiap kali mereka melakukan perjalanan, ia menelan belanja yang banyak. Bagi Cecilia Jayanthi Victor, 31, yang telah melancong ke lebih 10 buah negara secara backpacking, beliau berkata perjalanan ke tempat-tempat yang tidak dikenali merupakan pengembaraan terbaik yang pernah dialami. Beliau berkata, walaupun minatnya untuk melancong tidak pernah berhenti, menyimpan sebahagian wang adalah penting untuk kecemasan dan pembelian aset seperti rumah dan kereta. Katanya lagi, bagi memaksimumkan pengalaman perjalanannya, beliau akan cuba mencari tiket penerbangan dan hotel semasa tawaran promosi dan mendapatkan panduan perjalanan terbaik termasuk daripada blog dan laman web seperti TripAdvisor. Antara pengalaman perjalanan menarik beliau ialah Srinagar dan Kashmir, India, Killing Fields dan Tual Sleng, Phnom Penh, Cambodia, Boracay, Filipina dan St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia.
Untuk DIY kita hari ini, adakah anda mempunyai banyak kotak cardboard di rumah? Setiap kali beli barang, terutamanya barang online, pasti ada kotak yang turut disertakan sekali. Makin lama makin banyak pula bilangan kotak yang tersusun di rumah dan satu-satunya cara untuk menyingkirkannya ialah dengan meleraikannya atau bawa saja ke pusat kitar semula, kan? Nak buang terasa sayang, terdapat banyak cara lain yang boleh dilakukan dengan kotak-kotak itu. Jadi mari kita lihat bagaimana kita boleh tukarkannya dengan beberapa cadangan idea kreatif ini.
Kanak-kanak masa kini begitu terpersona dengan gadget-gadget canggih seperti tablet, iPad dan handheld games. Tidak cukup dengan itu, mereka akan menghabiskan masa menonton televisyen. Jadi, apa kata ibu bapa muda ini meluangkan masa untuk melakukan sesuatu yang kreatif dan adventure bersama anak-anak? Contohnya seperti alat mainan yang dibina dari cardboard terpakai. Bagaikan magnet, anak-anak kecil selalu tertarik melihat dan bermain di rumah-rumah kecil atau playhouse. Melihat mereka keluar masuk, membuka dan menutup pintu serta bermain-main di dalam playhouse selama berjam-jam lamanya bukannya setakat menggembirakan si kecil tetapi mengukir senyuman di wajah ibu bapa. Rumah mini ini membantu anak-anak kecil berimajinasi sambil bersukaria. Selain dapat bersama anak-anak, ia akan turut mengasah kreativiti dan imajinasi anak anda. Jangan jadikan tiada masa sebagai alasan kerana anda akan berada dalam kerugian kerana terlepas mencipta memori indah bersama anak-anak yang makin membesar ini. Bukan sahaja boleh dijadikan bahan mainan, ada juga cara yang luar biasa yang boleh anda gunakan di seluruh rumah untuk organisasi dan beberapa perkara lain, dari alat mainan kanak-kanak kepada pembahagi laci dan juga beberapa bunga yang indah. Projek ini akan membantu anda menilai kotak-kotak tersebut ke dalam ciptaan yang luar biasa. Sesetengah projek ini memerlukan keseluruhan kotak dan beberapa hanya memerlukan bahagian cardboard, yang bermaksud anda boleh melakukan beberapa projek yang berbeza dengan satu kotak bergantung pada saiznya. Terdapat juga idea-idea hebat untuk seni, hiasan dan juga perabot daripada cardboard yang dipakai semula. Anda boleh mengubah apa sahaja daripada sampah kepada benda. Sekiranya anda tinggal di sebuah bangunan apartmen, anda boleh menghidupkan kotak cardboard lama ini kepada nombor pintu apartmen yang menakjubkan. Walaupun cardboard tidak akan tahan dengan baik dalam tempoh yang lama, tetapi DIY cardboard untuk pintu apartmen ini sangat mudah untuk dilakukan dan ianya kelihatan begitu elegan apabila mereka selesai. Hanya cetak nombor yang anda mahu gunakan atau spray saja menggunakan tangan, jika anda benar-benar berbakat. Bingkai foto cardboard sangat mudah dibuat dan mereka sempurna apabila anda menginginkan sesuatu yang anda boleh sesuaikan. Bukan sahaja ini hebat untuk menghiasi rumah anda sendiri, mereka membuat hadiah yang sempurna untuk orang lain. Dan kerana mereka terbuat dari cardboard yang dikitar semula, mereka benar-benar murah dan mereka dibuat dalam reka bentuk lipat sehingga mereka hebat untuk memaparkan gambar di atas meja atau mantel. Simpan pen penanda anda dengan sempurna di tempat simpan pen kecil ini yang boleh anda buat dalam masa 10 minit. Anda boleh menggunakan kotak cardboard kosong untuk membuatnya dan ia sangat mudah. Pada dasarnya, anda hanya perlu menutupi kotak cardboard dengan kertas atau kain kertas dan anda sudah siap. Anda boleh letak bekas kertas tandas di dalam kotak untuk membantu memastikan penanda anda teratur dengan sempurna. Hidupkan cardboard itu menjadi dulang yang indah. Anda boleh menggunakan dulang ini untuk segala-galanya dari barang kemas kepada beberapa perkara lain yang anda ingin simpan dan ia sangat mudah dibuat. Anda tidak perlu mempunyai dulang, anda boleh membuat sepenuhnya dengan cardboard yang dikitar semula. Hanya perlu membentuk dan kemudian buat dulang dan tutup dengan kertas scrapbook, kain atau apa sahaja jika anda ingin menghiasnya. Simpan laci rias anda dengan sempurna dianjurkan dengan pembahagi yang boleh anda buat dari kotak kosong. Ini adalah salah satu projek yang paling mudah dan sangat berguna. Anda boleh menggunakan kepingan cardboard untuk memisahkan stocking dan segala macam barangan lain dan menyimpan laci tersebut dengan sempurna. Anda hanya perlu menandakan dan memotong cardboard anda supaya ia sesuai dengan laci dan tetap cukup ketat untuk tidak jatuh. Untuk membuat pasu yang indah, anda memerlukan cardboard beralun serta tube cardboard, CD lama dan beberapa bekalan lain. Anda perlu memotong cardboard ke dalam jalur kecil dan kemudian meletakkannya di sekeliling tube. CD berfungsi sebagai asas dan membantu pasu berdiri. Apabila sudah selesai, ini adalah pasu yang indah yang boleh anda cat atau hanya keluar kosong. Ia akan memaparkan bunga sutera dengan indah atau yang sebenar, cuma gulungkan kaca kecil atau pasu ke dalam tube. Biasanya, kotak-kotak surat yang terdapat di kedai alat tulis ini diperbuat daripada kayu dan plastik dan ianya sangat mahal. Anda boleh menyimpan duit anda jika anda membuat sendiri ini daripada cardboard yang dikitar semula. Apabila selesai, ia akan kelihatan seperti kayu besar yang anda lihat di kedai-kedai. Jika dicat sendiri, anda tidak akan dikenakan apa-apa kos dan ini semestinya sangat menjimatkan. Selain itu, ia cukup mudah untuk disatukan dengan syarat anda mempunyai semua potongan saiz yang betul.
Untuk segmen Kekal Sihat hari ini, kita akan lihat bagaimana caranya untuk kita kekalkan kulit yang sihat. Kita tak perlu beli produk-produk yang mahal. Dengan pemakanan yang betul saja pun kita dah boleh menjaga kulit. Jadi jom kita saksikan apakah 6 jenis makanan yang sihat untuk kulit.
Semua jenis makanan mempunyai manfaat yang baik bagi kesihatan dan kecantikan kulit. Bahkan, memiliki kulit cantik dan sihat merupakan impian setiap orang. Oleh sebab itulah ada pelbagai cara yang dilakukan untuk mendapatkan kulit cantik, sihat dan bersih. Cara semula jadi untuk menyihatkan kulit adalah dengan pengambilan makanan yang baik bagi kecantikan kulit kerana di dalam makanan terdapat ribuan phytochemical, serat dan vitamin yang bekerjasama untuk kesihatan dan kecantikan kulit. Untuk itu, kita perlu mengambil makanan yang dapat mempersihatkan kulit. Antara beberapa jenis bahan makanan yang wajib diselitkan dalam jadual menu harian anda adalah yang pertama, yogurt. Makanan ini mampu membuatkan kulit anda tetap sihat dan cantik. Yogurt bagus untuk kesihatan kulit dan bermanfaat untuk melawan masalah kulit seperti jerawat serta menghilangkan kelimumur. Sebaiknya pilihlah yogurt yang low fat dan low sugar untuk menghindari terjadinya peradangan kulit. Selain itu, yogurt juga merupakan antibiotik natural yang dapat membantu mengeluarkan bakteria baik dalam tubuh serta menjaga kesihatan sistem penghadaman. Makanan yang kedua, kekacang. Beberapa jenis kacang yang memiliki khasiat luar biasa untuk kulit adalah buah badam, pistachio, hazelnut dan walnut. Ia mengandungi vitamin E yang mampu menjaga kelembapan kulit, mengatasi kekeringan dan membuat kulit kelihatan lebih muda dan lembut. Yang ketiga, sayur-sayuran berwarna. Jenis makanan kaya serat ini sebaiknya tidak anda tinggalkan dalam jadual menu harian anda. Sayuran berwarna seperti lobak merah, bayam dan ubi banyak mengandungi beta-karotin. Vitamin A kaya dengan antioksidan serta mampu membantu mencegah penuaan semula jadi serta kerosakan sel yang mengurangi risiko kanser kulit. Manakala, sayur bayam pula mengandungi zat besi, folat, klorofil, magnesium, serat, protein dan vitamin C, E dan A. Ketiga-tiga vitamin ini sangat baik untuk kulit. Bahkan, bayam juga mengandungi antioksidan yang dapat melawan pelbagai masalah kulit. Pengambilan bayam pada setiap hari boleh membersihkan kulit dari luar dan dalam. Seterusnya, vitamin C. Vitamin C merupakan zat yang paling sering digunakan sebagai campuran bahan dasar aktif daripada produk perawatan wajah. Beberapa istilah yang sering digunakan adalah L-ascorbic acid, ascorbyl palmitate atau magnesium ascorbyl phosphate. Salah satu alasannya, vitamin C memiliki kandungan antioksidan yang sangat tinggi. Selain itu, jenis buah ini mampu membantu tubuh menghasilkan kolagen untuk memperkuatkan pembuluh darah kapiler sebagai saluran nutrisi kulit. Beberapa jenis makanan yang kaya vitamin C adalah anggur, blueberry, jambu, kiwi, lemon, betik, strawberry dan ubi. Antioksidan seperti vitamin C, E dan beta-karotin dapat mengurangi peradangan dan jerawat. Selain itu, vitamin C juga mampu melindungi kulit daripada efek buruk sinaran matahari. Makanan yang seterusnya ialah makanan laut. Kandungan zinc dan asid lemak omega-3 pada ikan sangat bagus untuk membantu melembabkan kembali kulit anda yang kering dan mengalami inflamasi. Kekurangan omega-3 pada kulit boleh juga menyebabkan penuaan semula jadi dan terjadinya eczema dan psoriasis. Dan makanan yang terakhir, paprika merah. Sebiji paprika mengandungi vitamin C yang diperlukan oleh tubuh pada setiap hari. Selain itu, paprika juga mengandungi banyak serat, vitamin B6 dan kaya dengan karotin yang dapat mencegah kedutaan dan melancarkan perjalanan darah ke kulit sehingga anda kelihatan lebih muda.
Untuk kata-kata motivasi hari ini, beliau adalah pengulas CNN, pengacara televisyen, penceramah motivasi dan pengarang untuk majalah popular bertajuk Kejayaan. Mel Robbins menerangkan tentang rahsia motivasi diri. Mari kita saksikan.
There are so many people in the world and you may be watching this right now and you have these incredible ideas and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. Because the way that our minds are wired and the fact about human beings is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things because our brains are trying to keep us alive. And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary, which sets up this problem for all of us. You're never going to feel like it. Our minds are designed to stop you at all costs from doing anything that might hurt you. And the way that this all happens is it all starts with something super subtle that none of us ever catch. And that is with this habit that all of us have that nobody's talking about. We all have a habit of hesitating. We have an idea, you're sitting in a meeting, you have this incredible idea, and instead of just saying it, you stop and you hesitate. Now, what none of us realize is that when you hesitate, just that moment, that micro moment, that small hesitation, it sends a stress signal to your brain. It wakes your brain up, and your brain all of a sudden goes, oh, wait a minute, why is he hesitating? He didn't hesitate when he put on his killer spiky sneakers. He didn't hesitate with the really cool track pants. He didn't hesitate with the NASA t-shirt. Now he's hesitating to talk. Something must be up. So then your brain goes to work to protect you. It has a million different ways to protect you. One of them is called the spotlight effect. It's a known phenomenon where your brain magnifies risk. Why? To pull you away from something that it perceives to be a problem. And so you can truly trace every single problem or complaint in your life to silence and hesitation. Those are decisions. Every human being has a 5-second window, might even be shorter for you. You have about a 5-second window in which you can move from idea to action before your brain kicks into full gear and sabotages any change in behavior. Because remember, your brain is wired to stop you from doing things that are uncomfortable or uncertain or scary. It's your job to learn how to move from those ideas that could change everything into acting on them. In the smallest moment, power of a 5-second decision, and you understand that you always have a choice to go from autopilot to decision maker, everything in your life will change. You will be a different negotiator. You will be different in sales. You will be unstoppable in the gym because you will realize the amount of garbage that you put in the way of your hopes, of your dreams, of your potential, of your confidence, of your courage. Everything comes down to the decisions that you make. We all know what to do. None of us know how to make ourselves do it. So I started researching it. Why does something so stupid work? Why? Why does something so silly create such powerful and profound change? Well, here's why. The rule is a form of metacognition. Metacognition is a fancy pants term that means something real simple. You can outsmart your own brain in furtherance of goals. There are tricks that you can use that actually outsmart the tricks your brain plays on you in furtherance of a higher purpose. We all know this. You can restrain yourself if you're in a situation that calls for it. You can jump into a raging river to save your dog or your kid. You can direct yourself in ways if it's important to you. And so the rule, what it does is it does something really remarkable. When you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what you're actually doing is you're interrupting what researchers call habit loops that get encoded as closed loop patterns in your basal ganglia. That's the part of the brain where your feelings, where your emotions, every habit that you have, which is nothing more than behavior that you repeat that you don't even think about. It doesn't work if you count up, because you can keep going. And also counting up doesn't require focus. If you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it again awakens the prefrontal cortex and it prompts you to move. When you start to use it and then you read about it, you'll see that it's being used all over the place. They use it in the armed services in order to align troops and get them to start an exercise. They use it in elementary schools, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, at big assemblies to get a huge room full of kids to stop talking.
Simple and interesting example, yeah.
Because it requires you to focus. It's not a habit. It will become a habit that prompts you to have confidence and courage. But in the beginning, it interrupts patterns of behavior that you do on autopilot. It helps you assert control, and it teaches you how to become the kind of person that moves from thinking about something to actually doing it.
Kami akan berehat seketika dan kami akan kembali semula selepas ini.
Hi, my name is Owen Heng. I am Managing Director from Tenderlet Sedia Berhad. Tenderlet Sedia Berhad is started by me and my partners. We decided to have this business because we see the potential in this industry. Mobile apps is a trend for now, and we believe it will become a need in the future. We foresee it can do more than current stage and become inseparable with our daily life in future. We are focusing on niche market, which is customize the apps based on our clients' needs. We want our client to feel that the apps that we develop for them is handy for them, not an apps that same with others and not suitable for them. This is how we differ from other players and value-added service that we provide to our clients. This will be our motto for present and future. I only have few words for them: patience, determination, and execution. You have to love what you are doing and stick it to the end. This is easier to say than done, but if you can do it, your dream is just a step away from you.
Welcome back. You are now watching Talking Points and we have an update on our news highlights. So let's take a look at today's Bulletin Ringkas. Kadar indeks jenayah di Perak menurun sebanyak 520 kes atau 12% tahun lalu. Ketua Polis Negeri Datuk Hasnan Hassan berkata, kadar direkodkan tahun lalu adalah 5,326 kes berbanding 5,846 pada tahun 2016. Bagaimanapun, Hasnun berkata trend jenayah kekerasan membabitkan kegiatan samun tanpa senjata api meningkat sebanyak 6 kes daripada 201 kes tahun lalu berbanding 195 kes tahun sebelumnya. Jabatan Imigresen berjaya menumpaskan sindiket penyeludupan warga Bangladesh didalangi seorang lelaki dikenali Abang Bangla dalam satu serbuan di sebuah premis kediaman di Seksyen 28 Shah Alam, Selangor awal pagi tadi. Ketua Pengarah Imigresen, Datuk Seri Mustafar Ali berkata, menerusi serbuan kira-kira jam 2 pagi, pihaknya menahan 50 warga Bangladesh berusia 20 hingga 45 tahun selain merampas wang tunai berjumlah RM13,400 dan 48 pasport Bangladesh. Beliau berkata, serbuan dilakukan susulan penahanan seorang lelaki Bangladesh dikenali Abang Bangla atau nama sebenarnya Abdul Rauf, 43, di Alam Megah, di Shah Alam, dipercayai menjadi dalang sindiket menguruskan kemasukan warga senegaranya. Jumlah mangsa banjir di daerah Rompin meningkat kepada 103 mangsa daripada 28 keluarga setakat jam 8 pagi tadi. Pengarah Angkatan Pertahanan Awam Pahang, Colonel PA Zainal Yusof berkata 64 mangsa ditempatkan di Pusat Pemindahan Sementara Sekolah Kebangsaan Tekit dan 39 mangsa di Dewan Orang Ramai Leban Condong. Zainal berkata, hujan lebat sejak awal pagi semalam memaksa semua mangsa dipindahkan selepas rumah mereka dinaiki air. Pelakon dan pengarah filem Datuk Farid Kamil Zahari yang dipercayai menampar seorang anggota polis trafik dan menendang 2 orang awam ditahan reman selama 4 hari bermula hari ini. Perintah tahanan reman itu dikeluarkan Magistret Zaki Ashraf Zubair terhadap pelakon berusia 37 tahun itu. Terdahulu, Farid yang memakai baju lokap ungu tiba di Kompleks Mahkamah Petaling Jaya dengan menaiki truk polis kira-kira jam 10 pagi sebelum diiringi anggota polis ke kamar mahkamah pada jam 10.35 pagi untuk prosiding reman. Sejumlah RM4 juta dana akan diagihkan kepada 140 rumah panjang di daerah Peluru Utara Sarawak untuk menaik taraf dan membaiki kerosakan kediaman. Menteri Muda Kerajaan Tempatan, Datuk Dr. Penguang Manggil berkata, agihan peruntukan itu diberikan Kerajaan Pusat untuk membantu meringankan beban penduduk rumah panjang di Utara Sarawak. Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri Marudi itu berkata, setiap keluarga di rumah panjang yang layak akan menerima bantuan Kerajaan Pusat sebanyak RM1,000. Welcome to our interview segment where we will be talking about developing the youth of today. Surrounded by negativity, school bullies, abuses at home, have we been overloading our youth with high expectations to a point of self-destruction? Malaysian government and agencies have been putting emphasis on shaping the younger generations who will one day take the helm in governing the country. But is that enough? Well, here to share with us on developing the youth of today's generation is none other than Mr. Eddie Lim, the CEO of Youth World Development. Hello, Eddie. How are you doing today?
Hi, Shasha. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. All right, so before we go into all the other questions, can you tell us more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I guess, my name is Eddie, I guess the most interesting part about myself would be my involvement in sports. Well, I used to represent our country in sports, specifically Taekwondo. I was in the national team for about a good 4 years, and I've been to tournaments like the Olympics qualifiers, the World Junior Championships, the Asian Junior Championships, the SEA Games, So I've been in the sport for about I think 25 years. So I've enjoyed the majority of my life pretty much getting bashed up. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So can you tell us more about Youth World Development? What is it all about?
Okay. Well, about Youth World, we are basically a company that delves in youth development programs, primarily in academic development and also the personal development of youths. When we talk about the personal development of youths, we were talking about things like, for example, sometimes just a pure motivational program, team building. We may also be doing things like, for example, enhancing their public speaking skills. When we talk about the academic part of it, every year we have a PT3 and SPM seminar, which is meant to help them score better in their exams. And of course, subsequent to SPM, we also have an advisory service to help these students who are looking at pursuing their degree at a tertiary level, their education. So we also have that advisory service for youth as well. Yeah.
So what was the driving factor that got you to find this Youth World Development?
Well, that's actually a very interesting question. I would say it all stemmed from my involvement in sports, again, in Taekwondo, right? In fact, a lot of things that I'm doing today came from Taekwondo, because I still remember when I was 18, I started coaching when I was 18 years old. Okay. Yeah, I was pretty young, right? And at 19 years old, I still remember there was this one instance, one day, right? This parent, this mother of one of my students came to me, and she was basically crying. She was crying because she was actually telling me the problems of her son, right? And thinking back, right, I think it takes a lot of guts and courage for a parent, because I was just 19 years old, to be honest, right? So it takes a lot of courage and guts for a parent to actually cry and tell you the honest truth about the kid, right? And I still remember this very, very vividly. That's 6 months after that, she came back one day, 6 months after that, she came back, and she was still crying. Well, I still remember that that time she wasn't crying because she was telling me the problems of her son anymore. She was actually crying because she was thanking me. Right, and that one moment, I think, is a moment that money can never buy, And then after that, I thought to myself, right, because when I teach Taekwondo, I don't believe in teaching students how to kick or how to punch. I basically believe in teaching them why they should continue punching or why they should continue kicking when everyone else beside them says, Eddie, I'm just so tired. The moment everyone sits down and they decide to do that extra one kick, that makes all the difference, right? So it's all about the values. And I was thinking, how do I actually reach out to students who don't do Taekwondo at all? So that's how Youth World started, because I wanted to reach out to more students, not just the students who are studying and who are just practicing Taekwondo under me, but just basically the mass. That's how it all started.
Amazing. Right, so I think it's obvious that you're trying to help youth these days, right? But what is actually the purpose and aim of the Youth World Development? Okay,
in Youth World, we aim to be to create a platform, basically a platform for youths. We want to be the place for, that's our motto, to be the place for youths, whether it's for fun, for growth, for education, for even just work, you know. So that's where we want to, that's our vision, to just basically be the place for youths. Like for example, right, our hallmark event would be the PD3 and SPM seminar. Every year we've got thousands of students signing up, right? And it's an academic seminar, but we infuse a lot of element of fun into those seminars. You won't believe it. I've got this one sejarah teacher. You know, we're talking about sejarah, right? It's a dull, mundane subject. You know, and our seminars we can have 1,000 students, and this sejarah teacher will go on stage, and the one last student at the back will still laugh for the next 1 hour throughout his entire seminar. You know, yeah. That I still remember. You know, during my sejarah days, I would sleep like a lot.
Yep,
right?
same
Yeah,
here.
yeah, right. But yeah, basically, we want to infuse fun into learning as well. Yeah.
Right. So I also understand that you're not only focusing on Malaysian youth, but you're also established yourself in Indonesia, Singapore, and China.
Well, basically, how we've got a presence there, it's not that we've done programs over there. It's just that because if you remember, we have this advisory service for students who would like to pursue their tertiary education. So what we've done is, you know, we've created this network with universities across the Asian, it's not just Asia, including, we're talking about also Australia, talking about UK, the ADP for American universities. So we've actually got this network of universities where if these students, they would like to pursue their tertiary education overseas, we will actually help them to apply, that's number one, to even get scholarships if possible. In fact, you know, there are a lot of scholarships that are available in the market, but a lot of students actually are not aware of these available scholarships. So we provide the advisory service to them to just basically let them know that, okay, this scholarship is actually available for you. Would you like this? If you would like to go to this university, we'll help you to enroll. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so Addy, we will continue with our interview after this, but right now we're going to take a look at our first tech crunch. Following up on Intel's recent buggy patches, the chip maker said it is working towards addressing the issue. Here's more, so let's take a look.
Intel Corp said that recently issued patches for flaws in its chips could cause computers using its older Broadwell and Haswell processors to reboot more often than normal. It added that Intel may need to issue updates to fix the buggy patches. Nevin Shenoy, general manager of the company's data center group, said Intel had received reports about the issue and was working directly with data center customers to discuss the issue. Shenoy said it is working quickly with these customers to understand, diagnose, and address this reboot issue. If this requires a revised firmware update from Intel, Intel would distribute the update through the normal channels. The Wall Street Journal reported on Thursday that Intel was asking cloud computing customers to hold off installing patches that address new security flaws that affect nearly all of its processors because the patches have bugs of their own. The world's largest chip maker confirmed last week that the security issues reported by researchers in the company's widely used microprocessors could allow hackers to steal sensitive information from computers, phones, and other electronic devices. Intel shares were down about 0.5% to 171 ringgit and 53 cents in after-hours trading after the announcement. Intel shares have lost 4.5% since the news of the chip flaws emerged on January 3rd.
It will soon be the last day of CES conference in Las Vegas. Many new technology were presented during the conference, and among them all were Virgin's very own Hyperloop One, which has been in the news for some time. Let's take a look.
Virgin Hyperloop One, the game-changing transportation system that will be able to hurtle passengers to their destinations at speed of up to 1,080 km per hour when complete, has released new details on how travelers will be able to plan, book and pay for their journey. Along with publicly unveiling their first generation port XP1 at CES 2018 in Las Vegas this week, developers also released more details on the passenger experience, bringing the futuristic levitating port system one step closer to reality. Much like online booking apps that exist today, passengers will be able to plan, book and pay for their Hyperloop journey and book other modes of transportation such as public, private, ride-share like Lyft or Uber using a trip planning app. Customers will be able to choose options like fastest, cheapest and greenest route. Developed using HERE technologies, the real-time application will also feature end-to-end route navigation that includes indoor walking directions for negotiating large transit centers, venues, shopping centers and airports. The app will be made public this year. Developers also use CES as a platform to unveil to the public for the first time the port, which was used in the latest testing phase where it reached record speeds of 387 km per hour. CEO of Virgin Hyperloop One, Rob Lloyd, said it is giving the public a taste of what a Virgin Hyperloop One experience will be like by publicly unveiling its port and demonstrating how passengers will experience booking a Hyperloop trip from their pocket. Every hardware and software milestone brings it closer to commercializing Hyperloop. When complete, the Hyperloop system is meant to cut travel times drastically. A trip between New York and Los Angeles, for instance, is estimated to last 4.5 hours compared to 7 hours and 45 minutes by plane.
And now continuing on with our interview with Addie about developing the youth of today. All right, so Addie, my next question here, what does Youth World Development provides for the youth?
Well, at the moment, I would say our most well-known event will be what we call the Future of Success, PT3 and SPM series. It's basically a seminar targeted towards Form 3 and Form 5 students, helping them to prepare to basically just score better in their SPM and PT3. So every year we have this program, and this year is the same thing as well. We'll be hosting it again, once again, for this year. In fact, we'll have an entire campaign stretched from January until September this year. So we're going to have 9 months of campaign happening, basically to just help these students achieve better scores in their examinations. In fact, to be honest with you, there are a lot of organizers of this type of seminars out there, but we are probably the only organizer in this country who actually records the entire seminar live, because we noticed that students, upon returning home, no matter how good the teachers are, because seminars like this takes 8 hours, 10 hours every single seminar. So by the time they go home, they will probably forget most of the things that has been taught, right? So we've recorded it for these students so that if they go home, if they've forgotten anything, or maybe during the seminar, they decided to go to the toilet, they pee for 2 hours. That's what the students do. They come back. If they missed an entire part, they don't have to worry. They'll be given a user ID. They can log in and they can rewatch the entire seminar. So that helps them in their memory. Yeah.
Amazing. So youth these days, they are very easy to be influenced by negativity, especially that affects their well-being. So what can they do to focus more on their development?
Oh, that's a very good question, right? Because I think, I always tell people that we are the average of the 5 people who are closest to us. And I think this holds true especially for teenagers. Even for adults, it's the same thing, but for teenagers especially, I think it holds very true, right? So for me, for youths, it's important that they know who they are mixing with, because I'm pretty sure we've got this one friend in school who always say sometimes, Eddie, let's just skip school today. And you'll go I don't think that's a good idea. And then he goes are you sure? Abing and
Peer
Ali
pressure.
is following. And I say, oh, okay, on, let's go, jump. We just tend to follow friends, especially when it comes to teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that they mix with the right crowd. As long as they know who they're mixing with, I think it does make a lot of difference in their lives. Yeah.
Like the saying goes, you are who you surround yourself with, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So what are the challenges that youth these days face actually? Common challenges.
Well, from my experience with school students, I do realize and I do notice a decline in attention span. And I think that's probably due to social media, internet, because everything is just on their fingertips right now, right? And I think because they know that if I miss this lecture today, I don't really have to worry. I can go home, I can just Google it, and it will just pop up on YouTube, someone teaching me how to do this, So I think attention span is something that I would say, I wouldn't really say it's bad or good. We don't really have conclusive studies that I've read before, right? But I do find that the attention span is actually declining when it comes to the youth today.
Okay. So we all know that parents play a huge role in developing a child's lifestyle and stuff. So what is actually the role of a parent in the life of a growing child?
Again, a great question, right? I think parents, very, very important role. I mean, I am very thankful for my parents for allowing the opportunity to do so many things that I wanted to do in life. But having said that, I think that youth, they hold a responsibility to their own future. They need to know who they really are. For example, I'm thankful for my parents, but I'm also thankful that I didn't follow their advice when they say no taekwondo when I was so much younger, right? Yeah, so because the thing is, I knew what I wanted. I knew what I could achieve, and I knew what they were worried about. They were just worried that if I were to spend a lot of time in taekwondo, what if my studies would be affected? But the thing is, deep inside, I knew that it would not affect my studies. So if youths know what they really want to do, and they know what they can achieve, and they know what's their limitations, as long as they know, I think it's more important. So for me, is if they've got a dream that they want to do, I would say just do it. Don't listen to anyone's advice. So my advice to them is, now that's ironic, right? So I mean, yeah. So basically, if they've got a dream, just stick to it, do it, but just make sure they know what they're doing. Yeah, parents are important, but I wouldn't say they know everything. They will probably know a lot more things than us, but perhaps not everything sometimes. Yeah.
True. Okay, so there are many events that you guys provide, like the Future of Success just now. Has that been held this year?
Well, our most, no, it hasn't been held yet. But our next, the most upcoming one would be in the month of March.
Okay.
So, but we've already started our campaign in schools. Like this week alone, I think we've given talks to over 10 schools. Probably we've already reached out to over 2,000 plus students just this week alone. So yeah, we are already on the move. The team's already ready, and I mean, I've got a team in Penang, another team in Johor, another big team in Klang Valley. So yeah, the Future of Success has officially begun. It's just that the PD3 and SPM seminar is going to be held later this year.
All right. So last but not least now, other than that, are there any other events or programs you would like to highlight?
Well, basically, by the end of this year, every single year we have another program. It's called the Bright Scholars Program, where students who attend this program will be trained by one of our speakers. He is actually a very, very qualified and certified speaker. His name is Wesley, by the way. So these students who come to this seminar, basically they'll get to learn things like, for example, the art of public speaking. Yeah, because this seminar is basically to help them apply for scholarships, or let's say they want to go to a university. They don't really know. Since a kid, they want to be a doctor, but they're not really sure if medical studies is something that they really want. Now, this is the program for them. They can come and they will find out from this program
Like a foundation.
Yes. So we'll basically teach them a few things. Public speaking, the art of power resume, how do they write the best resume so that when they apply for scholarships, the universities, they look at that resume, okay, I'm going to give you 2 million ringgit.
Okay, amazing. All right, thank you so much, Adi, for joining me on Talking Points. That concludes
it's
our
a real
interview.
pleasure. Yeah.
All right, so now we will be taking a short break and we will be right back after this.
is Alifyogu Gamal Zaman. My age is 29 years old. I'm from Kuala Lipis. I just started this business around 8 years ago, and my education level until SPM, and then I tak tahu bahasa Inggeris, but I will try to speak English because right now I take tuition to improve my English because I think English very important for my life. Dan kepakaran saya adalah mencantikkan orang. Sebelum ni, saya pernah mengambil sijil dalam bidang kecantikan, dalam bidang makeup, urutan badan, pedicure, manicure. Dan sebenarnya saya sendiri tak sangka apa yang ada pada hari ini seperti dalam mimpi. Di mana orang kata bidang kecantikan ni hanya sekadar minat saya. Saya suka makeup orang, saya suka urut orang, saya suka merhias orang jadi cantik. Dan saya tak sangka benda ini boleh menjadikan saya seorang jutawan dalam usia saya 22 tahun. Especially saya adalah seorang lelaki yang ingin menjual produk kosmetik kepada wanita. Ramai pada awalnya yang menghina saya, yang mengatakan, oh tak boleh orang jual kosmetik ni orang Indonesia. Oh tak boleh kau lelaki, orang jual kosmetik ni pondan. So berbagai-bagai rintangan yang saya hadapi dan saya hampir give up dan saya hampir lemah sebenarnya. Tapi alhamdulillah dengan kecekalan saya dan juga semangat tanpa getih saya untuk mengedepankan produk dan menampilkan saya sebagai pengusaha produk kosmetik. Dan dekat Malaysia ni kalau kita tengok, jarang sama sekali pengusaha kosmetik lelaki diketengahkan. Pada awalnya memang saya dikecam hebat. Semua orang benci dengan saya. Orang kata, kenapa suara dia macam tu? Bukan putih dan hitam. Iklan saya yang orang kata kecoh diperkatakan. Tetapi saya meletakkan diri saya sebagai seorang usahawan kosmetik dan saya tahu apa naluri perempuan nak. Sebab saya percaya kecantikan wanita itu dinilai oleh lelaki. Jadi saya melahirkan satu produk khusus untuk wanita dan disukai oleh suaminya. Sebab perempuan cantik untuk lelaki. Dan kenapa saya masih relevan bagi pendapat saya, saya seorang yang sentiasa mengikuti perkembangan semasa. Saya tahu apa yang orang nak. Saya sentiasa menjaga penampilan saya untuk saya orang kata presentable untuk sebagai seorang wajah kepada jenama produk saya, sebagai owner kepada produk kosmetik sendiri. Saya ada lebih daripada 100 jenis produk dan alhamdulillah saya bukan saya ada produk saya ada kilang saya sendiri. Saya ada lebih daripada 45 farmasi dan juga kedai kosmetik seluruh Malaysia. Saya ada 30,000 orang ejen seluruh Malaysia dan alhamdulillah pada umur saya 29 tahun saya mampu mempunyai lebih 200 properti di seluruh Malaysia dan saya juga mendapat anugerah Young Entrepreneur 2016 daripada Dewan Perniagaan Melayu dan baru-baru ini saya mendapat anugerah Putra Brand Award iaitu produk kesukaan rakyat Malaysia dan paling membanggakan saya juga menjadi duta kepada Pharma Malaysia dan juga Mara dan yang terbaru saya menjadi wajah kepada telefon bimbit terkenal Samsung. Kalau kita cerita untuk nak menjadi seorang usahawan ini, apa yang paling penting adalah minat. Bila kita berniaga, kita ada minat, kita akan buat benda ni menjadi hebat. Sebab tu kalau anda tanya kepada diri saya ada ilmu tak dalam bidang perniagaan. Saya tak ada diploma, saya tak ada PhD, saya tak ada degree. Apa yang saya ada hanyalah semangat saya dan juga minat saya untuk berniaga. Dan apa yang menyebabkan saya kuat adalah pepatah Melayu pernah mengatakan, hina besi kerana karat, menghina manusia kerana melarat. Dan juga kadang-kadang bila kita terasa inginnya manisnya madu, kita terpaksa sakitnya disengat lebah. Jadi bila kita nak berniaga ni, kita jangan menengok bila orang tu kaya, oh niat aku berniaga kenapa? Oh aku tengok orang tu naik Mercedes, aku pun nak naik Mercedes, aku berniaga macam dia. Orang naik BMW, aku nak lawan dia pula. Jadi niat tu dah salah. Bila kita berniaga sebenarnya yang paling penting sekali, kita kena make sure niat kita tu. Niat kita kenapa? Nak bantu mak, nak bantu isteri, nak ada rumah yang selesa, bukan nak menunjuk. Sebab banyak sangat usahawan kat luar sana tu nak berjaya. Tetapi malu nak berniaga pasar. Nak berjaya, malu aku jual nasi lemak, tak nak bercerita kepada orang. Tapi awalnya saya berniaga, saya bagi tahu. Aku jual jamu, aku jual dekat pasar tani. Walaupun benda itu dipandang hina dan juga aib oleh masyarakat. Dan saya percaya untuk menjadi seorang usahawan yang hebat, anda kena bermula daripada bawah. Kalau anda bermula daripada atas, sebab mak kaya, ayah kaya, dapat pinjaman bank, anda tak boleh berjaya. Kenapa? Sebab anda tak tahu macam mana rasa kerja cleaner. Anda tak tahu macam mana kerja rasa customer service. Anda tak tahu apa kerja HR. Dan benda ini yang saya rasa. Hai, nama saya Alif Syukri Kamaruzaman. Umur saya 29 tahun. Kepakaran saya mencantikkan orang. Yang gemuk jadi kurus, yang hitam jadi putih.
Welcome back. We have yet another update on our news highlights, so let's take a look at today's Bulletin Ringkas. Harga minyak dunia meningkat di atas $70 Amerika Syarikat satu tong buat kali pertama sejak 2014 berikutan pelabur menjangkakan pemotongan bekalan oleh Pertubuhan Negara Pengekspor Petroleum. Bagaimanapun, beberapa pelabur memberi amaran rantau pengguna minyak mentah terbesar dunia, Asia, sedang menunjukkan isyarat pembetulan penurunan. Niaga hadapan minyak mentah Brent, penanda aras antarabangsa untuk harga minyak meningkat lebih 50% sejak pertengahan 2017 dan mencecah $70 Amerika Syarikat setong minggu ini. Kadar indeks jenayah di Perak menurun sebanyak 520 kes atau 12% tahun lalu. Ketua Polis Negeri Datuk Hasnan Hassan berkata, kadar direkodkan tahun lalu adalah 5,326 kes berbanding 5,846 pada tahun 2016. Bagaimanapun, Hasnun berkata, trend jenayah kekerasan membabitkan kegiatan samun tanpa senjata api meningkat sebanyak 6 kes daripada 201 kes tahun lalu berbanding 195 kes tahun sebelumnya. Jabatan Imigresen berjaya menumpaskan sindiket penyeludupan warga Bangladesh didalangi seorang lelaki dikenali Abang Bangla dalam satu serbuan di sebuah premis kediaman di Seksyen 28 Shah Alam, Selangor awal pagi tadi. Ketua Pengarah Imigresen, Datuk Seri Mustafar Ali berkata, menerusi serbuan kira-kira jam 2 pagi, pihaknya menahan 50 warga Bangladesh berusia 20 hingga 45 tahun selain merampas wang tunai berjumlah RM13,400 dan 48 pasport Bangladesh. Beliau berkata, serbuan dilakukan susulan penahanan seorang lelaki Bangladesh dikenali Abang Bangla atau nama sebenarnya Abdul Rauf, 43, di Alam Megah, di Shah Alam, dipercayai menjadi dalang sindiket menguruskan kemasukan warga senegaranya. Jumlah mangsa banjir di daerah Rompin meningkat kepada 103 mangsa daripada 28 keluarga setakat jam 8 pagi tadi. Pengarah Angkatan Pertahanan Awam Pahang, Colonel P.A. Zainal Yusof berkata 64 mangsa ditempatkan di Pusat Pemindahan Sementara Sekolah Kebangsaan Tekit dan 39 mangsa di Dewan Orang Ramai Leban Condong. Zainal berkata, hujan lebat sejak awal pagi semalam memaksa semua mangsa dipindahkan selepas rumah mereka dinaiki air.
Pelakon dan pengarah filem Datuk Farid Kamil Zahari yang dipercayai menampar seorang anggota polis trafik dan menendang 2 orang awam ditahan reman selama 4 hari bermula hari ini. Perintah tahanan reman itu dikeluarkan Magistret Zaki Ashraf Zubair terhadap pelakon berusia 37 tahun itu. Terdahulu, Farid yang memakai baju lokap ungu tiba di Kompleks Mahkamah Petaling Jaya dengan menaiki truk polis kira-kira jam 10 pagi sebelum diiringi anggota polis ke kamar mahkamah pada jam 10.35 pagi untuk prosiding reman. Sejumlah 4 juta ringgit dana akan diagihkan kepada 140 rumah panjang di daerah peluru utara Sarawak untuk menaik taraf dan membaiki kerosakan kediaman. Menteri Muda Kerajaan Tempatan, Datuk Dr. Penguang Manggil berkata, agihan peruntukan itu diberikan kerajaan pusat untuk membantu meringankan beban penduduk rumah panjang di utara Sarawak. Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri Marudi itu berkata, setiap keluarga di rumah panjang yang layak akan menerima bantuan kerajaan pusat sebanyak RM1,000.
Moving on to our top 5. Now that we are well into the new millennium, society has begun to recognize serious concerns with issues kids have to deal with today. Some issues has always been there but are now coming to the eyes of the public to find solutions. However, there are other new issues arises as society begins to adapt to a faster pace of life. Here are the top 5 issues faced by youth today. Let's take a look.
Number 5. Violence in schools. A child's education is the foundation from which he or she will be able to go out into the world and build a life of their own. Schools play a major role in this endeavor, and therefore it is reasonable to expect that these places of learning would be the safe havens for children while they prepare for adulthood. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. In many instances, especially in low-income urban settings, schools can be a war zone. We are not talking about minor bullying, but rather serious violence. Consider that in the last decade, 284 kids were murdered due to school violence. Among this violence was shootings, stabbings, fightings, and even suicides. Growing up is tough enough without having to be worried about being killed while going to math class.
We live in a society that promotes materialism, and so we perpetuate this particular malady by instilling bad habits in children's life. Parents pamper their children that the measure of success and happiness in life is how much stuff one have.
Number 4. Materialism. Kids naturally want things, especially if their friends have something similar. Unfortunately, there seems to be little restraint on accompanying guidance as we go about this. Essentially, we provide our kids with whatever they want, that is within our financial ability to do so. The concept of earning what you get or the idea that something you don't need seem to have been lost and discarded. We have a mentality of getting what we want and when we want. It seems that this has been ingrained in us since childhood. The unfortunate result is that there are devastating consequences for such continued behavior later in life.
Education is important. Few people would dispute this well-regarded fact. A good education will provide a child with an increased chance of taking advantage of opportunities to be successful in life.
Number 3. Education disparity. Unfortunately, some people have it better than others. This is not an issue of just one school being better than another school. Rather, we are talking about a whole class of children being denied a proper education that will prepare them to compete in a job market with their peers and have the same access to their preference job. Disparity in educational quality is defined by race and financial status. If you live in a poor neighborhood or are a minority, there is a good chance that the schools you attend are lacking many necessities.
Not only is America now having lower paying service jobs than the average blue-collar job with a sustainable income, but our economy is now a global economy.
Number 2, shifting economy. Malaysians used to sustain itself with making its own products through manufacturing and then turning around and selling those products. The economy is shifting to more of a service industry versus a manufacturing industry. In order to cut costs and keep products prices down, companies are forced to outsource manufacturing to other countries. Other countries can produce products at much lower labor costs. Some companies have even begun to outsource all center jobs to keep labor costs down. The youth cannot graduate or even drop out of school without going through the pains of a low-income job. The jobs offered with no experience pay very little, with very little room for pay increases. In fact, the competition to get a promotion can be fierce. In the past, your high school senior could graduate and go to work at the local factory for the rest of his or her life and make a good living. They would not necessarily need to have a college education to survive. In fact, youth today will graduate from college with multiple degrees and still unable to find work that pays enough to sustain a decent lifestyle.
Getting out of poverty is easier said than done. It is not just the will of a parent to get a job, come home and put the dough on the table, but the government and society also play a huge role in lowering the level of poverty.
The federal poverty level is $22,050 for a family of 4. This equates to 21% of all children, which is 15 million children are considered in poverty. Just to cover basic expenses for a family of 4, you would need to have a salary of $45,000. This means that nearly 50% of our children are living in poverty. Half of those kids receive no government assistance because their parents earned more than $22,050 that year. According to the National Centre for Children in Poverty, that poverty is the single greatest threat to children's well-being. Poverty impedes learning and contributes to social and behavioral problems. And guess what? There is no income to counteract these problems. There is a huge opportunity for society to stop being so materialistic, and in turn, poverty would not be such an issue because most children will all have the same things, which is things they need instead of what they want. This would decrease violence in schools because fewer kids would be teased.
And now, continuing on for our Tech Crunch. This week, we have seen and read about some of the most innovative tech presented during the Consumer Electronics Show 2018 down in Las Vegas. Hundreds of tech reporters and investors poured throughout the floor of the convention, each giving their own views of what is best and should be the winner. Let's take a look at some of the best innovations at CES 2018.
To top things up, NVIDIA Xavier processor came under the spotlight of digitaltrends.com. This year, NVIDIA showed off what might be the most consequential piece of car technology for years to come, the Xavier system on a chip. A supercomputer folded into the size of a license plate, Xavier is the brain that will let car makers finally deliver on the most ambitious self-driving claims. It packs 9 billion transistors, 8 cores, and 512 core GPU, 8K HDR video processing, and a deep learning accelerator. All that processing power can take input from radar, LiDAR, cameras, and ultrasonic sensors to achieve full level 5 autonomy, the pinnacle of self-driving tech where a steering wheel isn't even required. The chip is shipping to customer this quarter. Volkswagen and Hyundai's partnership with NVIDIA means that those chips will go straight to capable hands. Volkswagen is already planning to use it to power ID Bus, the electric self-driving reincarnation of the classic hippie bus. In the audio department, Sennheiser's HD820 has claimed spotlight for addressing some of its predecessors' problems. The glorious HD800, a headphone known as one of the most supremely designed pieces of gear in its class. The 800's limitation come in the form of sound leakage, both from the headphones to the outside world and from the outside world into the headphones. To solve the issues, Sennheiser employed an intriguing and wholly unique form factor with an unexpected material, Gorilla Glass. By using concave plates of the glass, Sennheiser managed to contain the sound of its powerful cans while mitigating the kind of unwanted resonance that plagued many high-performance closed-back cans. The result is a supreme pair of headphones that look and feel as incredible as they sound. Driving its way in the automotive sector is the Hyundai Nexo fuel cell SUV, showcasing how the often overlooked hydrogen fuel cell technology has matured. The Nexo is a production model built specifically to run on the alternative fuel. It is an SUV as well, so there is the added bonus of more utility than what is offered by the diminutive four-door fuel cell production cars. Providing roughly 135 horsepower, the Nexo has 370 miles of driving range while offering the same level durability as a comparable gas-powered vehicle. It comes packed with driver aids like lane keep assist that works at speeds of up to 90 miles per hour and has a long digital screen that doubles as both the gauge cluster and infotainment screen. The Hyundai Nexo can even be useful if you decide not to go anywhere. It can water your plants. Dell has used a couple new tricks to stay king of the hill. The new version of XPS 13 is only 46-inch thick, but first in an 8th generation Intel quad-core processor. To do that and keep external heat down, Gore fabric has been used in the cooling system. This thin insulator keeps heat blowing out the exhaust instead of radiating into your lap. The company has also fully embraced a 4K touchscreen option, even while many alternatives have pulled back or never offered it at all. It delivers a fantastically shaped image. Dell also said that it has worked on contrast and color accuracy. According to Digital Trends, the keyboard on Dell's newest XP13 is great, the touchpad is responsive, and the look is distinctive yet handsome. There are many emerging tech throughout 2017, and what caught the spotlight at the CES 2018 was the Desktop Metal Studio 3D printer. It is no secret that 3D printing technology has progressed in leaps and bounds over the past year. But despite the fact that printers are more advanced than ever, most of them still suffer from the same major drawback, the fact that they can only print plastic parts. If you want to make something out of metal, you need to use CNC mill or $1 million direct metal laser sintering machine. Desktop Metal aims to change that and has developed a solution that makes 3D printing with metal not only possible but far more accessible and affordable than ever before. Here is how it works. The printer spits out parts just like any FDM printer, but instead of plastic, it uses a special filament made of superfine metal particles held together with a binder. After the part is finished printing, it is immersed in a solution that dissolves the binder. Finally, the part is sintered to remove any remaining binder and to fuse the metal particles together. It is pretty incredible tech. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Kohler's Vanderau mirror. For its innovation and beauty, Digital Trend has awarded Kohler's Amazon Alexa-enabled smart mirror the CES 2018 Smart Home Award. For the last couple of years at CES, there have been prototypes and platforms for smart mirrors, but instead of showing you how you look, Coolers harnesses Alexa to act as a smart bathroom hub. If you have lights in your bathroom, you can ask Alexa to turn them off or set them to makeup mode without having to wander to the living room. You can also listen to music and get details of your schedule. This device is gorgeous and is also water resistant. It will be available in March this year, starting at $1,000. There were a lot of rideables at CES this year. There were the next generation electric skateboards, a fleet of new Segways, and even a set of motorized Heelys. But of all the wild and crazy personal transportation vehicles at the show, the IOTA Trax stood out the most. It is essentially a hybrid device that lies somewhere between a hoverboard and a self-balancing unicycle. Like a hoverboard, it has two wheels, which provides a stable riding platform. But like a unicycle, those wheels are situated between the rider's feet. This unique configuration gives the IOTA Trax the best of both worlds. It is easy to ride and also extremely small and portable when not in use. Hear the word home appliances and you might think of the more traditional appliance like fridge or washing machine. Instead, it is more like a TV or computer. The GE Appliances Kitchen Hub has gained the spotlight for its innovative yet practical appliance. The appliance is a 27-inch screen that is mounted above your oven. It serves as a ventilation system for your stove, but also is equipped with Zigbee and Z-Wave, which allowed it to work as a smart home hub that controls all your devices. You can also search through lists of preloaded recipes and get video tutorials on how to prepare meals. Need to get cooking advice from grandma? Well, you can video chat with her via Google Duo on the Kitchen Hub to get tips and tricks for that dinner party you are throwing. Overall, the Kitchen Hub is an exciting development in the connected appliance world, and best of all, it will be available in the fall for $600. And finally, in the mobile industry, there was a ton of chatter about under-glass fingerprint sensor leading up to the reveal of the iPhone X last year, but it did not deliver. Who will be the first to debut this technology in a phone? If things stay on track, the honor will go to Vivo, a popular smartphone manufacturer in China with the help of sensor company Synaptics. As bezel on our phones shrink, the tag that used to flank the screen needs to go somewhere. Some companies opt to put a fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone, while Apple decided to forego Touch ID for Face ID. A better alternative is putting the fingerprint sensor under the glass, but it is not as easy as it sounds. That is where Synaptics Clear ID sensors comes in.
And now for our biz tip. Before starting a business, you must ask yourself what is the key factor that is needed to start a business. Let's find out from Diana Fadila, the founder of The Labels.
Saya Diana Fadila. I had The Labels for 6 years now, and kalau nak tanya pasal tips, it's actually a lot. Tapi yang paling penting yang saya boleh bagi tahu ialah kesabaran and also determination. You can't just give up. Yes, problems will come, and sometimes will be at the bottom of your at the bottom point, and tapi you just have to bangun and teruskan, solve the problem quickly and move on. The issue now is tak boleh nak dwell on the problem too much. You just have to move on, carry forward and start a new day, fresh. Paling pertama sekali is actually restu ibu bapa. That's very important sebab masa saya nak buka the labels pun, I actually talk to my parents first, and of course they had a few concerns lah yang mereka cakap, why do you want to quit your job is actually good enough, kenapa nak risk your career, and why do something that is uncertain, because business is uncertain, right? And tapi at some point you just have to convince them and say that it's okay, you boleh buat, and then but you cannot convince through words only, you have to actually prove it to them. And after a while my parents can actually understand that and they support me all the way. So parents' blessing is actually important, and of course yang ultimately is Allah punya Allah's blessing lah. In a way you have to berserah, tawakal kepada Allah sebulat-bulatnya, because when you work you have a boss. Now when you have your own business, your boss is actually the Almighty. Okay, basically being your own boss or being an entrepreneur, you have people under you, you have your staffs, you have your employees, and their problems would be your problem. Basically you have to know how to handle your staff, and at the same time you have to be strict enough, tetapi with maybe friendlier approach, so that they open up to you, and lain staff, different personalities, and you just have to know how to tackle them. Another tips that I boleh bagi is actually to run a business like a business. Basically, don't, especially in terms of accounting, in terms of finance of the company, you basically have to know how to divide them and not mixing personal account with business account, because that's very important. Kalau tak, at one point tak sedar pun macam mana, where does your cash flow goes to. That's very important untuk tahu kita punya cash flow, especially if you are a startup and you have your own business, tetapi you also basically enterprise lah. You need to know mana account you pergi, and you cannot mix personal expenses dengan business expenses. You have to draw a line yang you sendiri kena disiplin enough. Itu sangat penting to actually be different. Memang sekarang ni fashion is actually a very fast moving thing. It's, everyone wanted to do fashion, everyone wanted to be an entrepreneur. Tapi what makes you different is how you treat your the brands under you, how you treat your customers. Basically you have to have that kind of element where they would feel comfortable making business with you, and they would feel like you care about them. Sama juga dengan your staff, your brands under you, like macam the labels ni, we have a lot of brands under us, and insyaAllah we're going to go regional soon, insyaAllah. Tapi dalam masa yang sama, kita kena take care of the brands in terms of their sales, in terms of their quality, and yang paling penting, they have to be comfortable doing business with you. Memang I'm actually quite addicted to my phone, which is actually not a good thing entirely, especially when you're at home with your kids. So I try to put my phone aside lah. But for business purpose, yes, multimedia, social media platform is very, very good, especially Instagram and websites, because we are actually accepting orders online as well through our website, thelabels.net, and that's why we have to be quick in terms of posting on Instagram. We have to capture our customers' attention through that, because somehow that is effective, and of course by doing so they would want to come to our physical store untuk try out baju, untuk check out the stuff themselves. So for me, yes, multimedia is very, very important, especially for my business. You just have to yes, the economy is not gonna pulih by its own. You just have to power through the economy and make it work. And cara-caranya ialah untuk by recruiting more vendors, and that's why we also have online vendors where you can actually put your barang online at our website, and kita hanya jual online sahajalah. And physical store punya vendors is actually different. Physical store punya vendors, people can actually come untuk scroll barang you. So bagi saya, untuk melalui ekonomi krisis ni, it's important for you to put your feet on the ground and focus. Sebenarnya focus on your goals and focus on how you want to get through, because the economy is not gonna be okay on its own, except that you sendiri yang kena power through the economy lah. Nak bagi nasihat pun, I'm still not there. I still have so much to learn. I still have so much to achieve. I'm not even halfway there lagi. So but if it's okay for me to give something that I have learned so far, I would say that do not straight away jump into the boat. You just have to be careful and to be cautious before you jumping into the boat completely. That's why for me, I memang kerja dulu. I work as a geologist for almost 5 years first. I gain experience in terms of how to work with an employer and how to actually survive as an entrepreneur. I did that simultaneously at one time, and after a while you sort of know how to handle the situation, and then barulah saya quit my job. So I can advise the same to young ladies or young women out there untuk be cautious, tetapi at the same time don't limit yourself, because the sky is your limit. Basically you can do a business, you can do your own business, tetapi hanya dengan mula, you can start small. There's no problem by starting small. It's not something that is bad, and you build yourself from there.
And now we have another update on our news highlights, so let's take a look at today's Bulletin Ringkas. Seramai 20 wartawan dan petugas media maut dalam keganasan di Afghanistan pada 2017. Jawatan Kuasa Keselamatan Wartawan Afghanistan dalam satu kenyataan berkata, 2017 disifatkan sebagai paling dahsyat kepada wartawan dan media dengan insiden keganasan terhadap petugas meningkat 67% berbanding 2016. Pihak tersebut merekodkan 169 insiden keganasan dan pelbagai ugutan termasuk akan dibunuh, dipukul dan ditahan selain diancam dengan serangan secara lisan. Harga minyak dunia meningkat di atas $70 Amerika Syarikat satu tong buat kali pertama sejak 2014 berikutan pelabur menjangkakan pemotongan bekalan oleh Pertubuhan Negara Pengekspor Petroleum. Bagaimanapun, beberapa pelabur memberi amaran rantau pengguna minyak mentah terbesar dunia Asia sedang menunjukkan isyarat pembetulan penurunan. Niaga hadapan minyak mentah Brent, penanda aras antarabangsa untuk harga minyak, meningkat lebih 50% sejak pertengahan 2017 dan mencecah $70 Amerika Syarikat setong minggu ini. Kadar indeks jenayah di Perak menurun sebanyak 520 kes atau 12% tahun lalu. Ketua Polis Negeri, Datuk Hasnan Hassan berkata, kadar direkodkan tahun lalu adalah 5,326 kes berbanding 5,846 pada tahun 2016. Bagaimanapun, Hasnun berkata, trend jenayah kekerasan membabitkan kegiatan samun tanpa senjata api meningkat sebanyak 6 kes daripada 201 kes tahun lalu berbanding 195 kes tahun sebelumnya. We have come to an end of our show, but don't forget to stay tuned so you won't miss out on Hangat Hari Ini, Perspektif W, Bicara PRU and Studio Malam. Thank you for joining me on Inspirasi and Talking Points. I'm Shasha Jamal. Have a great weekend and Assalamualaikum.
Hi, my name is Owen Heng. I am Managing Director from Tenderlet Sedia Berhad. Tenderlet Sedia Berhad is started by me and my partners. We decided to have this business because we see the potential in this industry. Mobile apps is a trend for now, and we believe it will become a need in the future. We foresee it can do more than current stage and become inseparable with our daily life in future. We are focusing on niche market, which is customize the apps based on our clients' needs. We want our client to feel that the apps that we develop for them is handy for them, not an apps that same with others and not suitable for them. This is how we differ from other players and value-added service that we provide to our clients. This will be our motto for present and future. I only have few words for them: patience, determination, and execution. You have to love what you are doing and stick it to the end. This is easier to say than done, but if you can do it, your dream is just a step away from you.
It was a crush, but I couldn't get enough. It was a rush, but I gave it up. It was a crush, now I might have wanna said too much, but that's all it was, so I gave it up. I live my day as if it was the last, live my day as if there was no past, doing it all night, all summer, doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out to the dawn, but I won't be done when morning comes, doing it all night, all summer, gonna spend it like no other.
Hola, anda bersama saya Shikin Zaman sebagai pengacara anda di dalam Fashion Chameleon.
Some girls feel best in the tiny dresses. Some girls never sweatpants looking like a princess. Some girls kiss new lips every single night. They're staying out late cause they just celebrating life. You know some days you feel so good in your own skin, but it's okay if you wanna change the body that you're gaming. Cause you look greatest when you feel like a damn queen. We're all just playing a game in a way, trying to win their life. Most girls are smart and strong and beautiful. Most
So inilah tetamu jemputan Shikin hari ini, Sahira Basir. Sahira akan tolong Shikin macam mana nak lengkapkan misi yang pertama kita, iaitu malam gala dinner dalam Fashion Chameleon.
Hai, saya fashion lover dan saya gemar bergaya. And bagi saya, fashion ni boleh meningkatkan keyakinan diri kita.
I wanna be like, I wanna be like, I wanna be like, I wanna be like.
So itulah sedikit sebanyak tentang Sahira Basir. Shikin dah tak sabar sangat nak makeover ni, Sahira.
Okey, kalau tak sabar sangat, jom kita makeover Shikin. Jom.
Okey, mari kita describe Shikin. Shikin ni dia kulit cerah, dia putih, dia tinggi. So, apa-apa colour baju pun sesuai dengan dia. Tapi untuk gala dinner mestilah kita nak cari yang grand. Tengok ni, banyak pilihan.
Are smart and strong and beautiful. Most girls work hard, go far. We are
Ini yang paling bagus sekali kat lagi dinner tu.
fighting, make every
Ini macam heavy sangat. Ini yang saya suka.
Tapi heavy, sangat heavy. So better macam colour yang terang. Merah macam terlalu bright. Bright.
Nothing but sweatpants, looking like a princess.
Ada banyak lagi.
Kiss new lips, every single night. They're staying all night 'cause they just celebrate life.
Ini wah.
Some days you
Mesti
feel
kembang.
so good in your own skin. It's okay if you wanna change the
Dia semua
way that you
cantik.
came.
Shiki pun tinggi tau. So cantik lah.
So
yang ni kita letak on top. So nanti Shiki dekat dalam dinner kita boleh putih-putih. Sangat. Okay, so kita ambil next.
Are smart and strong and beautiful. Most girls work hard, go far. We are unstoppable. Most girls are fighting, make every day. No two are the same.
Kita suka fish lah. Kita suka betul. Tapi macam susah tak kahwin ini pakai kuda? Agak lah susah kan? Kalau Shiki makan pun Shiki kena kumpit.
Some girls.
Pening juga kan Shiki nak cari baju untuk Shiki. Banyak sangat pilihan. Itulah sangat banyak kat sini. Cantik gila. Tapi tak apalah, kita teruskan je macam dia. Yes, come on girls. Memang pencarian kau je.
Some days you feel so good in your own skin, but it's okay if you wanna change the body that you're gaming. 'Cause you look greatest when you feel like a damn queen.
Penat gila cari dekat dalam kedai ni yang banyak pilihan. Kita dapat yang ni, yang Tahira dan Sarah pilih yang ini. Kita rasa macam ni dia lagi cantik. Ya ke Shiki? Apa kata Shiki try dulu? Kita try mana yang lagi cantik. Shiki try. Okay,
It was a crush, but I couldn't get enough. It was a crush, but I couldn't get enough.
Hey, where's the drums?
Ooh, girl, you're shining like a Fifth Avenue diamond, and they don't make you like they used to. You're never going out of style. Ooh, pretty baby, this world might have gone crazy. The way you save me, who could blame me when I just wanna make you smile? I wanna do you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince.
Shiki, kita rasa baju ni cantik. Tengok detail dia, bunga dia. Cantik gila. Cantik. Cantik. Tapi kita rasa macam image kita tak sesuai. Kita tak sesuai. Belakang ni pun tak cantik. Tapi detail dia cantik. Serius cantik. Kita feel kalau kita tak betul-betul cantik kot. Betul. Sebab kan Shiki pakai inner. Nampak tak cantik. Betul. Saya memang Shiki cantik sangat. And warna dia sesuai dengan Shiki.
Anything for you to notice, all the way to serenade you, doing it's not style.
Okay, jom kita cuba the next one. Jom.
Keep it real to real in the way I feel. I could walk you down the aisle. I wanna do you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you like this. You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was wrong in the wrong time. It's like I rewind, everything is so throwback-ish. I kinda like it how you're out of my league. Old school chic, like a movie star from a silver screen. You're one of a kind, living in a world gone plastic. Baby, you're so classic.
Okay Shiki, kita rasa inilah dress yang sesuai untuk gala dinner. Tengoklah Shiki, dia punya detail. Cantik kat sini. Dekat belakang. Sangat cantik. Sangat cantik. And untuk perempuan bertudung, yang ni lagi sesuai. Ya, warna dia pun. Warna dia cantik sebab Shiki putih. So apa warna pun sesuai. Okay. Tapi macam Shiki kulit kuning round set tak apa tau. Memang boleh. Sebab warna apa pun sesuai untuk Shiki. Cuma tak nak too bright. And this one memang nice. Memang nice lah. Boleh menang kan? Boleh.
I kinda like it how you're out of my league. Old school chic, like
Tugas saya hari ini untuk carikan baju untuk Syikin untuk gala dinner dah selesai. Inilah baju yang kita orang pilih. Okay. Cantik sangat. Syikin, suka tak?
Suka lah, mestilah suka lah. Saya ni pilih lagi suka.
Memang sesuai sangat dengan Syikin.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Babe,
Syikin.
sebab tolong I hari ni.
Siapa lagi nak tolong you?
Okay, thank you kan. Okay, bye. Thank you so much. Okay, baju dah cari. Tapi makeup belum settle lagi. Jom, kita tengok makeup pula lepas ni.
Ooh, girl, you're shining like a Fifth Avenue diamond, and they don't make you like they used to. You're never going out of style. Ooh, pretty baby, this world might have gone crazy. The way you save me, who could blame me when I just wanna make you smile? I wanna throw you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you.
Hai semua, cantik tak makeup Syikin hari ni? Nak tahu siapa makeup Syikin? Tada!
Hai Kim.
Hai.
Assalamualaikum. Hai makeup lovers. Saya Rukaya, makeup artist. Sis menceburi bidang makeup selama 6 tahun. Makeup Ikin untuk hari ini ialah bertemakan Dolly Makeup.
Thank you Kak. Cantik sangat Kak makeup hari ni.
You're most welcome.
Okay, kalau kita nak tahu macam mana sentuhan akak ni terjadi, jom kita saksikan sikit di sini.
Hai, saya Rukaya Makeup. Hari ini saya nak dekatkan Syikin, konsepkan Dolly looks untuk nampak lebih kelihatan Dolly ala-ala kartun Barbie juga. Kita akan start dengan eyebrow dulu.
I never met a girl like you ever till we met. A star in the 40s, centerfold in the 50s. Got me tripping out like 60s. Hippies, queen of the disco.
Untuk eyebag, kita guna concealer. Kat pakai ni sekarang Poker. Antara yang the best lah. Sebab banyakkan artis, dekat artis tu dia guna concealer ni.
Like a movie star from a silver screen, you're one of a kind, living in a world gone past.
Macam mana pun yang untuk apply dekat muka, make sure you guna yang original. Sebab kulit kita ni sensitif. Jadi tak naklah kita campur adukkan dengan benda yang kita tak tahu asal dia. Kita letak kalau dia yang semua je. Macam nak apa yang nak apply ke foundation kan, akak ni kan macam tak cepat lah. Soalnya saya macam ni, kita akan
You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was born in the wrong time.
kita berdua, bagi mata. Natural je. Kita ubah colour. Tak terlalu putih.
Baby, you're so classic. Oh, a dozen roses, anything for you to notice. All the way to serenade you, doing it's not style. I'ma pick you up in a Cadillac like a gentleman, bring it glamour back, keep it real to real in the way I feel. I could walk you down the aisle.
Bila kita buka mata sikit. Eyeshadow tu nampak.
Islamic finance has evolved over the past 3 decades into a viable and equitable financial system, benefiting communities and the environment. However, Islamic finance needs to challenge the status quo towards proving its value and stay relevant amidst the evolving nature of the global economy. Tune in to Islamic Finance, channel 420.
It was a crush, but I couldn't get enough.
Sebenarnya ini tahun ke-7 kita menganjurkan Star Hill Gallery Fashion Week. Of course, objektif kita menganjurkan Fashion Week ini ialah untuk mempromosikan kita punya brand, because Star Hill is actually having the most exclusive brand such as Valentino, Kenzo, McQueen Alexander, Sergio Rossi and Missoni. These are the only brand that is available only in Star Hill Gallery. And of course, this year we are trying to make something very different as compared to last year. We actually, for the first time, we bring in this Australian luxe label, Acme, by the award-winning designer Alvin Fernandez. So this is the first time he's actually coming to participate in this show, and I must share with you, he has gorgeous collection, and you must have a look at his collection later. About fashion show this year, if you look at my team, we are using all the colourful theme. Tema kita ialah colourful, kita berwarna-warni, and because it's spring summer, so all my collections, right, it's about spring summer, and everything kita bring in is actually very colourful.
Malam ni kita launch Spring Summer 17. So basically it's about the collection that is ceria. It's musim bunga. So happy and colours.
Cerita sikit tentang niche retailing ni.
Okay. Niche retailing has been established since 2008, and we are in Star Hill, and niche retailing carries several brands, which is Kenzo, Valentino, Sergio, Alexander McQueen, and also Missoni. And I invite everybody to come and see our collection here in Star Hill. Hari ini, tonight we it a theme, and our theme is the garden party. Hence, I'm dressed in this. And I must say that it's very kind that everybody make the effort to come. And because it's spring summer and it's warm and they have all the colors that's related to spring summer, and the customers here today are good friends who have come to see us, and also the media, and we've managed to show a good selection from all the 4 brands. Definitely there's a demand for high-end products in Malaysia, but also I feel that people now want that service. Service means the experience of shopping. You know, they come, they like to be served, and they want to feel good, they want to feel, they want to touch. And so I think it's something that will never die. Even though e-commerce, people say, you know, people want to buy because they don't have time to come, but a lot of customers would love the service. They come to the shop, they feel welcome, they get to talk to the staff, and we try to understand what's the needs, and we give them what they want. So I think they're happy to shop with us.
That we've been presenting at Star Hill Gallery is the new couture collection, which we've mixed in with our ready-to-wear as well. And what we've done is all about hand embellishment, mixing luxe fabrics with sportswear, so it's a bit of a juxtapose and playing with the monochromatic tones and the hand finishes that we're known for. We've just been a bit more sophisticated in our shapes and just playing with volumes in the skirts. We play with different necklines and sort of the draping in the skirt as well, so being a bit more architectural with it. So, you know, just being a bit more attention to detail this time around. Come and go really fast now, but what I tend to do is that we don't try to follow trends. We do our own thing, because I don't like being told what to do. So, you know, we do our own thing, we do what we feel like, we see what our clients want from us, and that's what drives our passion and our trends towards creating a new collection. Named the new collection Turning a Raw Material into Something Precious, which we're really excited to be showing here at Star Hill Gallery. And we've used a lot of hand beading, so hand work, and a lot of playing with the volumes in the skirt, mixing textures like sportswear fabrics and silk velvets, just to give it a little bit of an edge and contemporary feel. Yeah, I think each designer has a different sort of voice, so each designer has their own personal take on trends. So what we do is that we try to form our own trends and create something that we're passionate about. It comes from the heart. So, you know, different designers do different things, so, you know, there's no right or wrong with it. So I think it just depends on how a designer wants to tackle the trend sort of factor. But I think if they feel really strongly about what they want to do, I think they should express that really well.
Ultra Shopping, bajet korang mestilah bersesuaian dengan kedai yang korang nak pergi.
It was a crush, but I couldn't get enough. It was a rush, but I gave it up. It was a crush, now I might have wanna said too much, but that's all it was, so I gave it up. I live my day as if it was the last, live my day as if there was no past, doing it all night, all summer, doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn, but I won't be.
Masukkan jalan. Satu, dua, tiga.
Good evening and welcome to Capital News. Join me, Adi Effendi, in the next half an hour as we share with you the latest in business news. It is Friday, the 12th of January 2018, the 12th day of the year, with 353 days on the calendar. Before we take a look at the headlines, let's see how the Bursa performed earlier today. The FBM KLCI index gained 5.79 points or 0.32% on Friday to close at 1,822.67 points. On the most actively traded counters were UMW Oil and Gas Corporation up 1.5 cent to 42 cent, Sapura Energy Berhad up 3 cent to 90 cent, and PA Resources up 2 cent to 11.5 cent. Top gainers were Panasonic Manufacturing Malaysia Berhad up 1 ringgit 20 cent to 38 ringgit 98 cent, Kluang Rubber Company Malaya Berhad up 95 cent to 4 ringgit 60 cent, and Nestle Malaysia Berhad up 70 cent to 104 ringgit. Top decliners were British American Tobacco down 26 cent to 33 ringgit 80 cent, Tasik Corporation down 20 cent to 12 ringgit, and Inari Amatron Warrant down 18 cent to 33 ringgit 50 cent. Let us now take a look at the stories that's making the headlines. Making the headlines today. Bank execs urged to apply for new certification for auditors. Interest rate hike a mild booster to banks' earnings, says research firm. AirAsia and AirAsia X shares up on possible route recalibration. On with our first story for the evening. Bank executives who hold either a degree, diploma or certificate with 3 years of audit experience are urged to apply for the certification for bank auditors or CBA to further strengthen their competencies in internal bank auditing. The chairman of Asian Institute of Chartered Bankers or ALCB, Tan Sri Azman Hashim, said the CBA was designed to align itself with the relevant body of knowledge and deployed an integrated and adaptable framework for internal audit with an emphasis on information technology audit, as cyber attacks were one of the bank's top risks now. According to Azman, as they operate in global marketplace, which is highly interconnected, the CBA is a clear need for internal bank auditors to keep abreast of these developments. He told reporters this after the launch of the certification today. He said the CBA certification was a replacement for the Certificate in Internal Auditing for Financial Institutions, CIAFIN, which was first introduced in 1998. He said as the complexity and intricacy of the internal auditing contents broaden and deepen, particularly with greater deployment of technology in the banking industry, AICB was compelled to revisit the CIAFIN. He added that over 1,000 candidates were expected to apply to enroll for the CBA certification next month. AM Investment Research is projecting 1 to 2 rate hikes with 25 basis points or BPs each for this year, which will be mildly positive on bank earnings. The research firm in an M Investment Bank report said Bank Negara's aggressive tone hinted at a potential review of monetary accommodation, which may see a revision of 25 to 50 BPs in the overnight policy rate or OPR in 2018. It said this could normalize the benchmark interest rate back to 3.5%. An interest rate hike will have a temporary positive impact on banks' net interest income as loan rates will be repriced higher, adjusting to the hike in the OPR before deposit rates catch up. M Investment said it is expected that the lagged impact of the deposit rates to be 2 to 3 months after the adjustment in loan rates. The shares of budget airline AirAsia and its long-haul affiliate AirAsia X were up in the morning session today. It comes on the back of a series of tweets by AirAsia Berhad's Group Chief Executive Tan Sri Tony Fernandes hinting at a positive route recalibration involving both airlines. At 11:03 a.m., AirAsia shares perked 7 sen to 3 ringgit 84 sen, with 3.82 million shares changing hands, while AirAsia X shares improved half a sen to 38.5 sen, with 7.47 million shares transacted. Fernandes in his tweet said AirAsia would be transferring routes that are over 4 hours to AirAsia X as AirAsia has matured and can use the capacity for the more profitable shorter haul routes. He described the exchange of routes as a win-win for both airlines. He also tweeted his prediction that this year would be good for AirAsia X with a further route reallocation and reduction in costs. He said cleaning up the balance sheet in AirAsia X as they started the fourth quarter 2018 is looking good. He also said that AirAsia X is not interested in the long-haul market, naming Berlin and London among others, as the airline felt the market was not ready and would remain firmly focused on medium-haul routes. Poor management structure has led to the Federal Land Development Authority or FELDA's current state of affairs. This is according to its chairman, Tan Sri Shahriar Samad. However, he said the restructuring of the management team under FELDA's umbrella has shown some improvements, with each subsidiary being led by a different chairman to ensure smooth operations. Shahriar said as a government agency, FELDA has its own chairman and board members. On the other hand, FELDA Global Ventures Holdings Berhad, or FGV, as a business entity has a different chairman and different members of the board of directors. He said this will avoid confusion in terms of division of tasks. He told Bernama this today. He was commenting on Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani's remarks that FELDA's quagmire was due to malpractices within the corporation. Johari was recently quoted as saying that wrong business model, weak management and poor governance were the 3 top reasons why several government and government-linked companies, GLCs, were facing problems, followed by not getting the right talents. On the contrary, Shahriar said FELDA and its subsidiaries had no problems in getting the right talents as it hired those who were experts in their fields. On the ongoing forensic audit on the Kuala Lumpur Vertical City KLVC project in Jalan Semara here, he said FELDA welcomed the move as it would help to further make sure that there would be no more discrepancies within the organisation. He said the auditing process are ongoing and the forensic team will be coming to FELDA next week to continue with its investigations. The Prime Minister's department had appointed an external audit firm to conduct a forensic investigation on the project involving FELDA land at Jalan Semara, which was being developed by Synergy Promenade Sdn Bhd. The firm will conduct forensic audits on all project activities, decisions and actions and revise the relevant regulatory process, including internal administrative weaknesses and oversights by FELDA or its investment arm, FELDA Investment Corporation Sdn Bhd. It was reported that the audit firm's investigation also involves the Kuala Lumpur Federal Territory Land and Mines Office and Kuala Lumpur City Hall, and FELDA was at risk of losing ownership of the piece of land worth more than 200 million ringgit following what had been described as a dubious deal in 2015. Rubber glove manufacturer Top Glove Corporation Berhad has signed a deal to acquire Aspian Sendirian Berhad, the surgical glove producing unit of Singapore's Adventa Capital Private Limited, for 1.37 billion ringgit. On November 24, 2017, the world's largest manufacturer of gloves entered into a term sheet to negotiate definitive agreements for the proposed acquisition of Aspian Sendirian Berhad. Upon completion of the proposed acquisition of Aspian, Top Glove will emerge the global leader in surgical glove manufacturing, further solidifying its status as the world's largest manufacturer of gloves. Top Glove, in a statement today, said the acquisition is well aligned with the group's strategy to effectively and sustainably grow its business, representing an initiative to inorganically grow the business via a product extension merger alongside Top Glove's organic expansion plans. It said upon completion, the acquisition will not only provide Top Glove with an expanded product range, but full access to Aspian's technologies and innovations as well, reinforcing Top Glove's market leadership. The deal would also see the merging of skills and experience, management talent, as well as customers and suppliers of Top Glove and Aspian, which would strengthen the group's growth profile and long-term value creation potential. In particular, Top Glove envisioned it would be able to serve its enlarged customer base more effectively with an enhanced range of high-quality and cost-effective medical gloves across multiple categories, including surgical gloves, examination gloves, as well as market-leading innovative glove products. Among others, it said the acquisition would also help it to overcome entry barriers into the surgical glove market and create substantial synergies through cross-leveraging Top Glove and Aspian's respective expertise in examination and surgical gloves. Explaining the acquisition, Top Glove said of the total 1.37 billion ringgit purchase consideration, 1.233 billion ringgit would be satisfied in cash, while the balance of 137 million ringgit was intended to be satisfied via the issuance of 20,505,000 new Top Glove shares at an issue price of about 6.6813 ringgit each. Hong Leong Investment Bank Berhad is acting as transaction advisor and principal advisor to Top Glove, while Credit Suisse is the sole financial advisor to Adventa Capital. The statement added that Top Glove has also mandated Citigroup Global Markets Asia Limited to coordinate a $310 million financing package consisting of conventional and Islamic facilities to partially finance the proposed acquisition. To find out what's going on with Malaysia's AMMB Holdings, Singapore's Comfort Delgro and Indonesia's United Tractors, it's time for Asian Spotlight.
On our Asian Spotlight today, Maybank Kimeng maintained its hold call on AMMB Holdings with a target price of RM4.80. Maybank IB said the focus on SME lending is a step in the right direction toward driving loan growth, NIMS and CASA. The bank raised its estimated financial year 2019-2020 earnings by 4% to factor in potential MSS savings. The investment bank said in the near term, second half of financial year 2018 earnings could be weaker half on half, in its view due to the impact of the one-off MSS costs as well as lower credit recoveries. In Singapore, Maybank Kimeng maintains its buy call on Comfort Delgro with a target price of $2.40. The investment bank said it hosted a NDR for Comfort in Malaysia. It said key takeaways included Uber tie-up should be earnings accretive, as Uber's car rental business is not loss-making on a core level. Revenue synergies, including vehicle maintenance and inspection from the tie-up, could lift earnings and better prospects for the rail segment and overseas businesses in 2018. Maybank Kimeng said earnings should improve in 2018 after lackluster 2017 due to declining taxi business and greater losses in the rail segment. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, Maybank Kim Eng reiterates its buy call on United Tractors with a target price of 46,000 rupiah. The investment bank said strong demand for equipment and strong coal prices will likely persist in the medium term. Maybank Kim Eng said further coal price strength and rising equipment sales are expected to provide catalysts.
We will now take a quick break, and when we return, China's 2017 trade surplus with the United States tops $275 billion to record high. Stay with us.
What started as an alternative financial system is today a viable subsector within the global banking industry. The Islamic banking and finance industry has grown at a cumulative average growth rate of 18% over the past 5 years. Catch Islamic Finance to understand latest issues, trends, and innovations in the world of Islamic finance. Tune in to Islamic Finance, challenging the status quo.
Demi satu perjuangan, dengan darah tersimbah walau parah, kami rela berkorban. Jika tidak kita, siapa lagi? Tidak mengira perwira mahupun Sri Kandi, pantang undur, rela mati, berkhidmat untuk negara.
Dia di sisi anda, berkongsi maklumat dalam dan luar negara bermula 5 petang Isnin hingga Jumaat. Bersama saya, Aiman Effendi, secara langsung Januari ini hanya yang terbaik di Channel W. Channel W. Ada, hanya yang...
You know, I never went to business school. I never worked for anyone before. I don't have an experience of running businesses. But I found out it's really simple. What I focused first is 2 years I lived in the factory to make sure that Shobani is perfect. Every minute, every second, I didn't pay anything attention to anything else. Manufacturing. Build plants. Let people do their magic. Let's connect to the factories. Let's connect to the things that we make things.
Making the headlines today. Bank execs urged to apply for new certification for auditors. Interest rate hike a mild booster to banks' earnings, says research firm. AirAsia and AirAsia X shares up on possible route recalibration. Welcome back to Capital News. Customs data shows China's 2017 trade surplus with the United States reached an all-time high of $275.81 billion. The 2017 increase in the surplus with the US came as China's overall trade surplus declined to $422.5 billion. Spokesperson of the General Administration of Customs said trade surplus with the United States soared 13% year-on-year to 1.87 trillion yuan, or about $288 billion. China's trade volume with the United States expanded 15.2% in 2017 to 3.95 trillion yuan, accounting for 14.2% of the total. Exports to the United States climbed 14.5%, while imports from the country jumped 17.3%. In 2017, the United States was China's second largest trade partner, and China hopes to deepen economic and trade cooperation with the country to achieve mutual benefits. At a press conference Thursday, the Ministry of Commerce spokesperson Gao Feng said that the trade imbalance between China and the United States is mainly a result of different economic structures, industrial competitiveness, and international division of labor, and China has never sought a trade surplus as the flow of trade is determined by the market. In response to a US Section 301 investigation into Chinese intellectual property and technology transfer launched late last year, Gao said that the trade investigation is based on its own laws and regulations and will compromise the international trade framework. Customs data also showed that China's total trade surplus shrank 14.2% in 2017 to 2.87 trillion yuan compared with a 9.1% reduction registered in 2016. China's exports increased 10.8% to reach 15.33 trillion yuan, while imports surged 18.7% to 12.46 trillion yuan in 2017. Singapore retail sales has surged in November, reversing course from the slump in October. According to latest data by the Singapore Department of Statistics, total takings grew 5.3% in November compared to the same month a year ago. This, compared to the 0.2% drop recorded in October, revised lower from earlier estimates of a 0.1% dip. Sales also fell 0.6% in September. With motor vehicles stripped out, retail sales also grew 4.7% year-on-year. Retail takings also rose on a month-on-month basis, going up by 5.1%. Excluding car sales, it also grew a respectable 2.9%. Computers and telecommunications equipment was by far the best performing category, going up by 16.6% compared to a year ago. This was followed by supermarkets at 9.7% and petrol service station sales at 9.6%. Walmart said on Thursday it will raise entry-level wages for US hourly employees to $11 an hour in February as it benefits from last month's major corporate tax cut, and on the same day said it will shut stores and lay off thousands of workers. Earlier on Thursday, Walmart announced the wage hike, saying it would also offer a one-time cash bonus based on length of service of up to $1,000 and expand maternity and parental leave benefits. The layoffs went unaddressed, but the wage increase attracted praise from the White House. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told reporters Walmart is the largest employer in the country, and to see them make that kind of effort to over 1 million workers is a big deal. And she thinks further evidence that the tax reform and tax cut package are having the impact that they had hoped. Walmart said the pay increase is Walmart's third minimum wage increase since 2015, and bonus will benefit more than 1 million US hourly workers. The Walmart wage hike, taking minimum pay up from the current $10 an hour after an in-house training, is aimed at helping the company attract workers at a time when the US unemployment rate is at 4.1%, a 17-year low, making it harder to attract and retain minimum wage employees. Meanwhile, according to a senior company, the world's largest retailer and private employer, officially called Walmart Stores Inc., will shutter 63 of its Sam's Club discount warehouses, or about 1/10 of the chain overall. Fiat Chrysler to invest $1 billion in a Michigan plant, which will add 2,500 jobs. Facebook plans major changes to newsfeed, and US retirement village to have largest self-driving taxi scheme. For more on these, it's time for TechBees. Fiat Chrysler Automobile said it will shift production of Ram heavy-duty pickup trucks from Mexico to Michigan in 2020, a move that lowers the risk to the automaker's profit should President Donald Trump pull the United States out of the North American Free Trade Agreement. Fiat Chrysler said it would create 2,500 jobs at a factory in Warren, Michigan, near Detroit, and invest $1 billion in the facility. The Mexican plant will be repurposed to produce future commercial vehicles for sale in the global markets. Mexico has free trade agreements with numerous countries. FCA said on Thursday it also would make a special bonus payment of $2,000 to about 60,000 FCA hourly hourly and salaried employees in the United States, totaling about $120 million. Typically, US automakers only pay bonuses to hourly workers as part of collective bargaining agreements. Facebook is to change how its news feed works, making posts from businesses, brands, and media less prominent. Instead, content that sparks conversations among family and friends who use the site will be emphasized, explained Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg on his page. Organizations on Facebook may see the popularity of their posts decrease as a result, the firm acknowledged. The changes will take effect over the coming weeks. He said that he and his team felt a responsibility to make sure Facebook was good for people's well-being. He said if public content is to be promoted, it will now have to be seen to encourage community interaction, as happens within the tight-knit groups that discuss TV programs and sports. One of America's largest retirement villages will have a fleet of self-driving taxis introduced next year. US firm Voyage said it will start rolling out the service at the village's Florida, which is home to 125,000 senior residents. It said the scheme, spanning 750 miles of road, would be the largest by area size in the world. It comes as safety concerns about self-driving cars persist after testing problems and some accidents. Voyage already operates a handful of driverless taxis at another retirement community in San Jose, California, also called The Villages, but said it had begun testing vehicles in Florida ahead of a much larger rollout. Voyage's self-driving cars aren't fully autonomous. All have safety drivers behind the wheel who can intervene in an emergency. The firm said it predicts high demand from residents, as has reportedly given an equity stake in its company to the owners of the villages. Moving on to sports biz, NBC expects ad sales record with Super Bowl and Olympics, and Novak Djokovic signs footwear deal with ASICS beginning with Australian Open. Let's take a look. US broadcaster NBC said it expected to hit ad sales records for the Super Bowl and Olympic Winter Games, both of which will air next month, showing that advertisers are hungry for live events that draw viewers on a real-time basis. Dan Lovinger, Executive Vice President of Advertising Sales at NBC Sports Group, said NBC, a unit of Comcast Corporation, has sold all but a handful of 30-second TV spots, which it is charging more than $5 million on average for the Super Bowl. The company also expects over $900 million in national ad sales for the Olympic Games, which would be a first for a Winter Olympics, Lovinger said. The Olympic Winter Games will be held from February 9th to 25th in Pyeongchang, South Korea. NBC estimated ad sales of nearly $1.4 billion for both the Super Bowl and the Olympics. Serbian tennis player Novak Djokovic has signed a global footwear deal with ASICS. The former world number one, who has dropped to 14th in the men's rankings after a long spell out with injury, will play in trainers supplied by the Japanese brand during each tournament in which he competes. The deal, which was announced in Melbourne, Australia, ahead of the Australian Open Grand Slam tournament, ends Djokovic's association with German sportswear giant Adidas, which signed the 12-time Grand Slam champion to a long-term partnership in May 2013. Motoi Oyama, Chief Executive of ASICS Corporation, added they are delighted to work with Novak Djokovic as part of their ongoing commitment to the mobility of individuals both on and off the field. FIFA has agreed towards signing a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with the Council of Europe, COE, to promote good governance and methods to combat doping, violence and match fixing in soccer. The MOU is expected to be signed by the end of 2018. FIFA has been widely criticized for failing to act on a recent human rights report which claimed that migrant construction workers are operating under potentially life-threatening heat and humidity at construction construction sites for stadiums due to be used at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The global governing body has also undergone a widespread corruption investigation, which has seen 42 officials indicted in the US. And that's all the news that we have for you this evening. Thank you very much for watching Capital News. I'm Adi Effendi, wishing you a fantastic weekend ahead. Good night.
You know, I never went to business school. I never worked for anyone before. I don't have an experience of running businesses. But I found out it's really simple. What I focused first is 2 years I lived in the factory to make sure that Chobani is perfect. Every minute, every second, I didn't pay anything attention to anything else. Manufacturing. Build plants. Let people do their magic. Let's connect to the factories. Let's connect to the things that